I'm so excited. I'm so excited that y'all are here for Glow the Fuck Up. This is going to be a free 5-day event, if you don't know, a free 5-day event that is going to help you transform your entire life. We are going to glow up in all areas so that way you are showing up as your happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest self. These 5 days are going to be so powerful if you just show up and commit to yourself right now that you're going to show up for all 5 days. You are going to pay attention during the hour that we're here each day. 1 hour is all I'm asking for. And then you're going to do the homework. The homework isn't going to take a long time, but we do need to integrate. We do need to embody all of the things. So if you're excited, drop me some comments. Where is everybody from? I know that there's people still joining on. And if you're catching us on TikTok or if this is on YouTube, you can always click the link in my bio and you can join us live on my website where I'll be answering questions and I will be teaching and giving the homework. So if you want to join this free 5-day event, then just hop right in. South Carolina, Texas, Missouri. Okay, all right. We got people from all over Mississippi. Love this. All right, this is awesome. I'm going to let a few more people jump on. I'm not sure how many people can make it live because it is in the middle of the day, but that's fine. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, so excited from Florence, Alabama. Okay, New Hampshire. We've got the whole, all of New York over here. Okay, I'm so excited that you guys can make it live. I do just want to give a few moments for people to jump on because the amount of people that joined this program was literally insane. So I'm so excited. Now, each of these 5 days, we're going to be diving into one specific topic because the idea here is to glow up your entire life. Who is ready for a glow up? Type glow up in the chat if you are ready for a glow up. Like if you feel like 2023 is kind of like getting a little stagnant, it's getting a little crunchy, you're really wishing that things were a little bit more excited, you feel like it was feeling better, it could be feeling better. That's what this event is for. I know what it feels like to be at the end of the year and to kind of be like losing momentum, getting tired, feeling a little exhausted, maybe a little frustrated because you didn't manifest all the things that you wanted to manifest. You kind of feel like you're still in a similar spot than you were the year before. Here's the thing, you guys, like we have all been there. The best of the best have been there, but the idea isn't to go there. Like that happens to all of us. But the idea is how quickly can you pick it up? How quickly can you get back up once you realize that you've lost momentum? And the thing is when you start building momentum, when you start showing up for 5 days, that's why this is a 5-day event, because you're going to be showing up and day 1, we're going to start building the momentum and you're going to keep it going by doing the homework. And then day 2, we're going to keep it going all the way up to day 5. So by that time, when you get to day 5, doing the homework and showing up and really integrating these teachings, your life is going to be so different just because you're not going to even go back to feeling this way you were, because you're going to have this momentum and this excitement built up. You're going to feel so confident in what you're doing and the person that you're becoming, in what you're manifesting, that it is going to feel electric. By day 5, you are going to be like, yes, because this is the energy that we all need. We all need, I call it plugging in. When there's somebody that has high vibe energy or they've got bigger, higher perspectives on things, like that you're like, oh my God, like this person, like I don't know what it is about them, but they have this energy, they have this understanding. Like every time I listen to them or watch them, like I just feel more energized. That's the deal. You guys, I'm a manifesting generator in human design, if you don't know. So like I have a lot of energy. I'm letting you plug in. So we're going to go deep. And in my world, I typically just take off running. But because there's so many people signed up for this challenge, I just want to give everyone a minute to make sure they're actually signed on. So let me know how you're feeling. How are you feeling in life? Are you excited for this? Is this what you've been asking for? Where you were like, universe, I need something. I need something. Glow up, glow up, glow up, glow the fuck up. Yes, Sid. Yes, glow up. Real quick, will there be a replay? My lights are blinking and may go out during the storm. Oh, take care, sugar. Yeah, so there will be a replay. So what's going to happen is every day we are going to meet at 1 p.m. EST, 11 a.m. PST. If you're another time zone, just equate that out for me because I don't trust myself enough to do that one. But so we're going to meet from 1 to about 2 every day. We might run a little over based on questions. We'll just see. But it's going to be about an hour every day. And then it'll take about an hour or two just for me to download the video and then upload the video so that way you guys can watch the replay. But so ideally actually it's storming here too, so I'm gonna say ideally within 2 hours, but just in case the internet's slow, tops 3 hours, there will be a replay. I will send you guys an email once the replay is available, and the replay will have the video for you to watch if you want to plug back in, or if you want to re-listen, or if you couldn't make it or had to leave early, whatever. And then it will also have the homework. So each day there's going to be homework that won't take a long time because I like potency. Like, I'm not here to waste your time. Like, let's potently change our lives really fucking quickly. And that's why my students and clients typically have major shifts within 1 hour to 3 hours to being in my world. And you guys get 5 hours with me this week. So this is really fucking awesome. I'm really excited. And so if you can't make it for any of the day or whatever, just plug back into it. Here's the deal though. I want you to commit. You have access to 1-1, but I want you guys to really commit and build this momentum. So make a declaration to yourselves right now, whether you can make it all 5 days live or not, that you're going to watch the replay and you're going to do the homework that day. Because I don't want you to fall behind, because when we fall behind, then we use all of these excuses that we can't catch up. No. We are going to do this 1 hour. You can commit to one and a half hours to yourself every day this week before the holidays. It's totally necessary anyway. So if you haven't yet joined the actual program, if you just got your free ticket, or if you're catching me on TikTok or on YouTube, just click the link in my bio and you can join the program. So as soon as the replays are up, you'll have access to the entire event and you'll have all 5 days until 1/1. Then it will move into my membership and it'll live in my membership forever. So the people that are in the membership that are here, you guys can plug back into this whenever, and when the event is over, you will see it show up in the AOMU membership. So I want to give you a sneak peek if you're not on my email list and you didn't know like what today is about. And also, I woke up feeling quite ill. We're manifesting health right now, but I just want to let you know that normally I don't drink that much because I talk a lot, but in order for me to like retain my voice, I'm going to have to be taking some breaks to drink. So I apologize in advance for this. So day 1, today, is all about mindset. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about one area. We're going to be talking about one area because you guys, if you are live, you can jump in the chat. You can chat with us. There's 250 people can show up live a day. So you guys, if you're here, you can chat. So chat your little faces off and I'll read the comments through, and I'll also answer questions. I might reserve more questions towards the end, but if you have a question in regards to the specific thing that I'm talking about, absolutely drop it in. I might just answer it at the end, but we might answer it right then. Like, we might segue because other people might have your question too, right? And I was that person when learning. Like, I really like to learn things quickly and then I get good, and then I get fast at things. So I'm that person that will ask a lot of questions at the beginning, because if I have any questions, I just want to know right then and then. I'm not going to guess, and then I can keep going. So don't hesitate if you have a question, ask it, because somebody else probably has that same question, and feel free to like drop how you're doing and in the comments, like be interactive. So today we're going to talk about one topic, and every day one topic, and then there's going to be one question that is like what we're diving into. So today's day 1 mindset. The question we'll be tackling is, what do you think about daily? And each of these questions is a daily question. We're not getting lost in the sauce of like a bunch of time that we can't control. The only moment we have is this moment right now. So every day is going to be a daily question, because the idea here is you, while you're on this call, are going to be shifting. And then when you get off of this call, you're going to be integrating, but you're going to be constantly shifting back, because once you have this awareness and once you know the tools to really change your life, you just apply them. You don't sleep on yourself. You don't like be like, well, I got to read the book. We're not doing that. Like today, I'm going to show you how to shift your mental thoughts. I'm going to shift your limiting beliefs quickly, because the idea is we're not trying to do things like out of this moment that we can't control. Yes, sometimes there might be deeper work, but today we're all about potency. Everything that we're doing is going to be very potent. And when you realize like how quickly I move, you guys are going to be like, damn, okay. Like, this is why her clients shift quickly. So each day there will be a topic and then a question. So tomorrow is emotions. And the question will be, how are you feeling daily? Day 3 is going to be grounding. And you guys, just so you know, if you don't already know, I'm also a Reiki master upon all the things. I don't really do a lot of Reiki, but you guys know when you ask about health questions, like we go deep. So grounding is something that I promise you you haven't heard before in a class, not in the way that I'm going to talk to you about it, not in the context. So it's not just going to be like getting your feet on the ground, which is yes, important. But this is what a lot of people don't understand is when you start doing transformation work, when you start learning to manifest, when you start learning to do the self-identity work, you have to really be not only activating your mind, but you need to be grounding your body, because your feelings and your thoughts are what are creating your reality. That's what's creating your vibrational signature, your point of attraction, and the universe is responding to that. So the idea is we can't get all lost in our head. We have to also tune into our body. And that's why I have a Psyche manifestation method, because I really know the importance and the necessary ingredient of you being embodied, regulating your nervous system, really taking care of yourself. Because if you don't ground in, you can't have this really amazing experience with the divine, because you're not able to always tune in because you're lacking stability. So grounding is so essential. And this is a conversation that I don't hear talked about enough. And because of the way that I'm going to help you like interpret it, you're going to want to be there for all these days. I'm telling you, this is going to be like unlike any other workshop, like truly. And then day 4 is going to be, so the question for grounding is, how are you connecting daily? And then day 4 is manifesting. We'll be tackling the question of what are you manifesting daily? And then day 5 is all about self-concept. You guys know I always tell you it's the overarching theme of transformation. So we'll be tackling the question of who are you being daily? So notice that every single day we're tackling something that you can actually do that day. And then the idea is we're compounding. So day 1 plus day 2 plus day 3, we're not dropping. We're just always integrating one step at a time. And then the next day we're integrating the next one. And so it's like then after the 5 days, then you just get to go through this integration period where you start embodying these things. But when you start doing them daily and you start compounding, that's when the momentum builds, right? And that's when it's way easier for you to actually stay on track with what you desire to do, what you desire to manifest, who you desire to be, because you're not going to allow yourself to slip up. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to help you get very clear and identify where you are sleeping on yourself. So that way you're fully aware of it. You're no longer unconscious. And then boom, when we're conscious of our unconscious traits, that's when shit starts shifting quickly, because our subconscious mind is 95% of our reality. And if you don't know, your subconscious mind doesn't just live in your mind. It also lives in your body. Hence why nervous system regulation is something we talk about in my world, because it is so essential to manifesting. And a lot of people don't really integrate those two teachings. And so we're going to get really deep into everything that you need to know to be able to manifest, to be able to raise your self-concept, for you to be able to take care of your body, like the human body, while you're having this spiritual experience, and really tackle your mind. But the idea is we're going to do it fast. This is how quantum leaps occur. Quantum leaps are always about the micro steps that you take daily that lead to macro transformations. And here's the thing. When you start taking macro steps daily, because you're making a macro shift in how you're showing up, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and you do that daily for 5 days, that's when a quantum leap can easily occur, because you've built up all this momentum and you're changing the steps and you're showing up differently. And when you show up differently, what happens? Your reality changes. So drop in the comments, are you excited for this? How are you feeling? I'm so excited. It seems like more of you have been jumping on, so that's great. Excited, doing good, excited to be here. Yay, thank you. You're so welcome. Okay. I'm so excited. So let's dive right in. Very excited, so excited. Okay, awesome. This is going to be so good. I'm going to take a sip of water and then let's get into day 1. And I see more of you joining the program. If you want to join live with us and join the chat and ask questions, If you're catching me on TikTok or YouTube, just click the link in my bio, sign up for the Glow Up event. You will, in the welcome section, there will be the link that you can join us, and the first 250 people to join live will be able to chat and ask me any questions. So if you're wondering how you can get in on the chat, then just join on my website. Just go to the link in my bio and you can join us. All right. So what do you think about daily? I want you to metaphorically raise your hand or like give me the hand up emoji if you have gone through a mindset program, if you've read a mindset book, if you've worked with a mentor, if you've done mindset work before. I want you to raise your hand if somebody told you that it was going to take a long time and that there was a lot of things that you had to do. Like you had to look at everything that has happened in your past. If you wanted to heal your relationship with money and to manifest money, you had to look at all of the problems that happened in the past with money. If you wanted to heal your relationship with love, you need to look at all of the problems that happened in the past with love. If you wanted to heal or manifest something and change your mind about it, you've got to get to the root cause of it. How many people have heard that the way you do mindset work is the root cause? Few hands seeing this. Okay, yes. Here is the thing. This is the number one thing that I find is really what's keeping people stuck longer in mindset work than they need to. Now, I want you to always use discernment when we are talking about things because there's always a contradiction. That's how this dualistic experience works. So today we're talking about shifting your mindset very quickly and shifting your limiting beliefs in the moment. And I want you to understand that while this practice of looking back at your experience, because you get clear on what your beliefs are and you get really aware of what's been happening in your mind that's creating these experiences in your life. The problem is a lot of the times we start looking at these past experiences, we have trauma in that area, so we have a lot of experiences to look at. And then we're not really shifting that quickly because we're actually reliving the trauma because we probably didn't process through all of the emotions. We probably didn't process through and forgive all of the people, including ourselves. Like there's a lot of deep healing work, right? So we're not going to be talking about the deep healing work today. And I want you to know that in not all areas is deep healing work necessary. So you've got to use discernment to understand where you're at in an area. But this is going to be something that regardless of whether you might have to do some deep work in an area still, because I want you to think about your mind as a garden. When you are planting plants, you can plant the plants and you can have beautiful pink roses, but there's still some weeds that'll grow. And if you don't get to the root of all of the weeds, then it's going to keep popping up. That is how a limiting belief works. And we shift limiting beliefs in the moment. So understand that in my world, I'm going to have conversations with you guys that a lot of people pay a lot of fucking money for. These are concepts that are very, very deep. We go deep and wide in my world. And that's what I need you to understand, that discernment is something that I'm going to need you guys to use. And I'm going to need you guys to understand that contradiction is part of the process. So while we're going to be talking about shifting your limiting beliefs quickly, I just want to put that disclaimer out there that I do understand that in some areas it is necessary to do some deeper, longer work. And still, what I'm teaching you today is the work that's going to shift your mind really fucking quickly. So that way you're actually getting to the root of that by just shifting your mind each and every time. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Let me know if you understand what I'm saying there and if the garden analogy helps. This is the thing. If you're new to my world, if you don't know this, I use a lot of analogies and metaphors that really help you to create an image in your mind. Why? Because our subconscious mind doesn't speak in the language. So I'm speaking English right now. It doesn't speak in the language that we're speaking consciously. Our conscious mind speaks in words, but our subconscious mind speaks in pictures. It speaks in imagery. And I find that a lot of people have a difficult time, sometimes with mindset work, sometimes with personal transformation work, with shadow work, with all the things, just because they don't have a mental image of it. They just have these words that they're trying to make sense of. And that's when we're like, I don't know where to go. But when I can teach you the tools, when I can give you the tools, when I can teach you the topics and give you the context, and then I can lay it in with an image, so you're like, I get it. Then it doesn't matter what type of learner you are. 1, and 2, we're also talking to your subconscious mind. Because think about it, you're watching me through a screen right now. When you watch television, you get into a hypnotic state. When you watch the screen like this, just because, think about it, like you're staring at a screen that's just lights, essentially, that's creating this image, much like reality, right? We're not going to go too deep into quantum physics in this program, though. But you're going to understand that this is somewhat of a hypnotic state. So this information is going to be going into your subconscious mind a little deeper. And that's why I'm also going to help you speak to your subconscious mind without you even realizing. But that's why, if you don't understand why I give you a lot of imagery, now you'll get it. And this will lock in. So anytime I'm explaining an image, see it in your mind as clearly as you can to try and tie that image to the topic, because then you're really putting your mind to work, right? So take another sip of water. Hydration. We'll feel amazing tomorrow. That's what we're manifesting. So belief systems, thoughts, they are really the energetic encoding of reality. So while we're not going to talk deeply about quantum physics today, you guys know, if you're in my membership, I have a program called Quantum, and I go so fucking deep into quantum physics that some of you are like, Jesus Christ, Alexa. So we're not going to go there today, but understand that I always teach you holistically. So we are going to touch base on that. So when you understand that this is basically one big virtual reality game that we're playing, it's your beliefs that are really laying the foundation for everything that's happening in your life. And a lot of people have a hard time grasping this, and raise your hand or let me know, have you had a hard time understanding that? Like, you've heard it so many times that your beliefs create your reality. Well, they really always say thoughts create your reality, right? But it's not just one thought. It's a belief system. And belief system is like, the thoughts are like the leaves that come off of the belief system, but it's like the belief system is what's creating your reality. So it's your beliefs are creating your reality, not your thoughts are creating your reality. So that's one thing that I want to really put an emphasis on. The garden illustration is so good. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I love the brain as a garden. Okay, amazing. So the thing that I need you to understand is, and this is what we're going to get really deeply into, because this is the thing that I find when people get this, and I know in my life, I studied mindset work for so long, and it didn't clock in for me. And that's because every mindset coach I worked with, every mindset program I took, didn't matter what area it was on, they were always like, you got to do this deep work. You got to look at everything that happened, and I was like, but isn't mindset work supposed to help me feel better? Because this doesn't make me feel better when I have to pull out my journal every single time and I need to look at all of this like negative stuff. So it was like I was understanding that my beliefs created my reality because I did some of it and I could notice that, but it was almost like this doesn't feel good and this isn't helping me like right now, right? Like I'm sure this is going to help me down the road because I'm clearing up some mindset shit that like I wasn't even aware of, but it's going to take a long time because if I always have to pull up my journal, if I always have to look at these beliefs, it's like, ugh, kind of get stuck there because then it's like, if it's a really deeply rooted issue, there's only so long you can do something without seeing results that you kind of want to tap out, right? Tell me if you've ever felt like tapping out in mindset work because you just felt like you just had so much gunk. You were digging up so many of the crops that you were just like, I'm fucking tired. Like I'm not seeing the roses yet. And I've been out here every goddamn day. It feels like for 2 fucking years in this goddamn garden and I'm not seeing the roses yet. If I could just see one rose, that would really make it worth it, right? And the rose being, in this metaphor, manifestations. And I know that this is the place that I found myself in for a while. It didn't matter how many manifestation books I read, didn't matter how many times, like I've been through coaching certifications, like all of the things, like it was like, this isn't fully landing in a way that I can execute it. Like there's just like, it feels like something is missing here. Like this can't be it. Like I've heard so many people say it that I know this is part of it, but there's got to be something more. And I argue that the reason why I like took a long time to get these concepts was because I think that there was a lot missing in like the explanation. So I really want to help you guys understand how your beliefs create your reality by giving you a different way to approach it and to question yourself. So that way you can kind of shift your perspective. Like if you are looking, remember those things? Have you ever used those things where when you go to like a park or you're looking at something long distance and it's over like the river or whatever, and you put 25 cents in and you look through the goggles and they're like these big goggles and you can turn them. So it's like you have whether you have it, it's like you have those goggles on and we're going to shift. So it's the exact same thing that we're looking at. We're looking at your life. We're looking at yourself. We're looking at your reality. You're looking at it. And it's like you've just now shifted the way that you've looked at it. This is what Albert Einstein said when he said that you can't solve a problem from the frequency that you were in when you created it. And I'm always going to butcher quotes, but it's like, that's how my mind is. And we're just going to go with it. But you guys know the quote that I'm talking about. Okay. I'm always going to give credit to the person and then butcher the quote. But like, we know this in my world. If you don't know this, you'll know it now. So yes, true. It's taking way too long. I'm tired. So true for me. It gets exhausting. All right. Yeah. You guys are with me there. So what I want you to understand is your beliefs are the thing that's creating your reality. And what that is meant is one of the prime directives of your subconscious mind is to make you right. So your subconscious mind is always making you right. And then somebody else's subconscious mind is always making them right. So no matter what you decide, no matter what you believe, whether you've programmed it or not, your subconscious mind is making you right. And now where a lot of people have a hard time understanding that their beliefs create their reality is they don't really get how their subconscious mind works. And your subconscious mind is always looking for evidence. It's always looking for evidence that you are right. But in order for you to be right, you had to give your brain a command, right? It's always working for you, but in order for it to do whatever you want it to do, you have to give your brain a command. Now that command is the beliefs. So the beliefs, whether you're consciously thinking them or unconsciously thinking them because they're programmed into your mind, is telling your mind what to do and what to create. So what I want you to do, instead of focusing on how your thoughts create your reality or your beliefs create your reality, I want you to focus on your reality and see your beliefs. I want you to look at the evidence because that's where your mind wants to go anyway. Your mind is looking at the evidence of what has happened and saying, well, this is happened before, so it is true for me, and da 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 da. But what I want you to understand is when we can look at what has happened, hindsight's 2020, right? When we can look at the evidence where it wants us to go, and then we say, well, if this was what I experienced, and I'm just going to state that it's true that my beliefs create my reality. I'm going to just suspend any disbelief or any frustration that I have with this right now and just going to make a decision today. I'm going to get it. It's going to lock in. I'm going to understand it. So I know that my beliefs do create my reality. I'm working on believing that. So if I look at what has happened in my life and I say, okay, well, now I know that happened because my beliefs created my reality, then what would I have had to believe to be true about life and for me for that experience to be created? Do you see how we're looking at the same thing, but it's a whole new perspective? How many of you have looked at mindset work in that way? How many of you were able to shift and not get so lost in the sauce of your beliefs and your thoughts and trying to figure that all out in this mental level and actually took a hindsight view and looked at it from a different lens and were like, wait a minute, well, let me look at my experiences that I already know to be true for me. And then if my beliefs created those experiences, then what beliefs would I needed to have? What beliefs would I have had about that thing that happened, whatever the subject was? Like, what would I have needed to believe about that subject? Was it love? Was it money? Was it career? Was it myself? Was it the universe, whatever it is? But when you look at it that way and you're like, okay, let me just then shift, because it's like, then you're looking at a picture, you're looking at an event that happened, and then you're able to extract out of it, okay, well, if that did happen around money, around love, around career, around myself, whatever, what was I believing? Like, what did I have to believe in that area for that to be true? And then it's like you're almost just getting curious and saying, so yeah, that did happen. So then, like, why? Why would that have happened for me? And it's like not about judging or blaming yourself and getting stuck in this problem frequency. It's about shifting your perspective so that way you can look at it from a new lens out of the problem frequency. And instead, we're looking for a solution, right? Because once you look at the beliefs that you had to have had in order for that situation to occur, then you are able to say, okay, so these are the beliefs that are coming up for me. This is what actually makes sense when I look at that belief and then I look at what happened and I look at them together and say, well, so does that belief make sense with that experience? Yes, is typically going to always be the answer. Fun fact. But when you look at it that way, and then you're like, okay, so now you have a blueprint of all your limiting beliefs. You have a blueprint of all of these beliefs that are coming up. Now, this is what your homework is going to be. So I don't want you trying to like journal out. I'm going to ask you this question and another question in your homework, and you're going to get really deep on it. And that's going to be the deep work that I want you guys to do. So it's going to be about looking at the area in your life that you most want to glow up right now. And you can do this with every area, but just pick one area and just look at the beliefs that you would have had to have. Now, that's how I want you to start doing mindset work from now on, because it makes it more interesting. It makes it a lot faster. And that's like the lengthier part of mindset work for like being in my world at this point in time. Like that's where we're really at, because that's something we can do quickly, something we can shift quickly. Now, the thing is that's also something that isn't always something that you're going to be doing in the moment. Now, I would argue that once you get practiced and well-versed in mindset work, this is something that you don't necessarily need to journal out always, because you've dug out a lot of the garden, right? And so it's a faster and more effective way, but every once in a while, weeds will still pop up. Limiting beliefs will still pop up, but it's like you won't have as many limiting beliefs in an area because you're working through them and you're cleaning that up as you go. That's why I always say clean up your side of the street. I'm talking about your mindset. I'm talking about your energy. So what I want you to think about is like, that's a way that you can do mindset work, and it can happen quickly, and it's a complete shift of perspective. So I want you to let me know, does that help you to understand how your beliefs create your reality? If you were to look at it from that lens, if you were to take that perspective, is that a different way of looking at it for you that helps you kind of be like, okay, even if you're like, I think I might need to do this homework to like really look at it, is it helping you to have kind of like a light bulb moment, helping you to have kind of an aha moment? Like, do you understand mindset work from a different lens now that you've looked at it from that layer? I'm curious. I want to know. And if you're on TikTok and you want to join us live, you can and get in on the questions and participate. You can totally join at the link in my bio. You can join us and you can ask questions throughout and at the end. I'm ready to get to the core of my beliefs that I want to change so that the outer changes. Hell yeah, Sharon. And that's what that's going to help you do, because now you're looking at what's happened and you're looking at it as like a photograph, or you're looking at it like a movie, and you're saying, okay, so what beliefs like supported that happening? And then it's like, okay, so the idea is if I shift those beliefs, then my reality is going to shift, because I'm now shifting the beliefs in the moment. And the thing is once you do that, you have all these limiting beliefs now that you're going to have planted this seed that you're looking for, right? So it's like, oh, I see you, tricky little weed. I see you trying to pop up again by like implanting in my mind and allowing me to think and give you tension. Like you're feeding the thoughts just like you would feed a plant, and the attention you give it and the time that you spend focusing on it, that's the sunlight. That's the clean air. That's the water that the plant needs to grow. That's how a limiting belief gets formed, because a thought that you continue to think over and over again creates a belief. And what ends up happening is your beliefs are actually creating your evidence that you're looking at. But so many people are looking at it like well, I have evidence of this, so I believe it. But it's really the opposite. We have to reverse engineer it. It's that because you had beliefs in that area, you experienced it, because your subconscious mind is always looking for evidence to make you right. So you put the belief in, or somebody programmed you from 0 to 7, put that belief in you. That belief is playing out. That's the command to the subconscious mind, whether you hear it or not. That's the belief system's just playing out. That's why when we're not conscious of them, right? And that's what happens, is because that belief was in us, the experience thus had to be created for that experience to really happen. Now, once you're able to shift your belief, then your mind is going to look for new evidence. And that's how your reality is going to change quickly. Because if you refuse to believe the old belief anymore, because now you're consciously aware of it, then your mind is going to go, oh, okay, like, we're not giving attention to that weed anymore. That one's withering up, and we're actually watering this other plant, this other belief. So now we're only coming here. We're not even going to that side of the garden anymore. And that's when it gets cleaned up quickly, because you are only now feeding the new thoughts that you consciously want to think, instead of allowing those limiting beliefs to get all of the attention in your mind. I think this is going to help tremendously, because it's a perspective I've never looked at things from before. Oh my God, I love that for you, Natalie. That's awesome. Notice your beliefs from your experiences. Acknowledge what your beliefs are that created that, and now shift the perspective to your beliefs for future moments. Yes, Sid, that's such a beautiful, beautiful way to really explain that. How do we shift our beliefs faster? I really need to shift my beliefs around money faster. I feel you, girl. And that's what we're going to be going into in just a little bit. Well, actually, probably like right now. Because I want you guys to just have a different perspective of how to really do mindset work in a way that's going to actually change your like life quickly, and a way for you to look at it differently. So that way you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I get how to do this mindset work. It's not so elusive anymore. So when you understand that your belief is creating your reality, when you understand that because of your beliefs, the evidence is there, that's what keeps happening. So in order to change your evidence, which is your life experience, you need to change your beliefs. So then it's like, how do we change our beliefs in the moment? And that's why I always say consciousness is so important. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to start being more conscious throughout the day. Because when you go into autopilot mode, that's when your subconscious mind is going to start activating. So if you find yourself disassociating from the present moment a lot, that's when this mindset work is going to feel like it takes forever, because you're just on autopilot for most of the day. So then your old beliefs are still taking over, and that's when it's going to feel hard. So the first step to changing our minds and changing our life is going to be to change your mindset. And then you're going to really do this by being conscious. So we change our mindset by being conscious. We are aware of our limiting beliefs when we're conscious. I want you to be honest with yourself. How much of the day do you notice that you've gone completely unconscious? That you're at work and you're zoning out, that you're in the car and maybe you're zoning out, that you're watching TV, but you're kind of really scrolling and you're not really like paying attention to anything. Like, you're not really living in the moment. How much of the time are you really present and in the moment? Because this is going to be the key to really transformation, is how long you're present and how much you're present while you're actively awake. Because your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are always dancing together. And when you can actually allow your conscious mind to be dancing with what you desire to be experiencing by being conscious while you're awake all day long, that's when you're really going to reprogram your subconscious mind quickly, because you're being conscious and you're not going to entertain the limiting beliefs. So when you're conscious and you're paying attention, so in your situation, Haley, when it comes to money, so when you're being conscious, the topic of money really comes up all the time, right? Especially in society. Like, money is something that's talked about a lot, and not necessarily in a good light, but it's talked about a lot. So when you are conscious, that means you're noticing when the email comes up about a bill. You're noticing when you open your mail and a bill comes in. You're noticing the beliefs that and the reaction that your body has because you're paying attention. Now, if it's love you want to manifest, if it's health that you want to manifest, all day long, when you are being conscious, you notice that this topic comes up. And when the topic comes up, what I want you to start paying attention to is one, being conscious to notice that this topic has come up. And then when the topic comes up, whether you're reading an email, whether somebody says it in a conversation, whether it's a thought that you think because of something that happened, like whatever it is, I want you to notice, where does your mind go first? Like when the topic of money comes up, when the topic of love comes up, when the topic of health comes up, what's the first thought? Like when it comes up in real world, real life experience, what's the first thought for you? Is the thought an empowering thought that tells you that you get to manifest abundance, you get to manifest wealth, you get to manifest love quickly and easily? Or are you having a thought that actually isn't helpful to what you want? It's really creating this old experience over and over again. And then because your thoughts and your feelings are so interconnected, it's then making you feel a certain way, and typically not good. So if we're thinking about money and the thought of money comes up because of a bill, and we notice that our mind is on, I never have enough money, and then our body goes into this dysregulated state of lack, of fear, of panic, it's like, okay, so when I'm conscious, I notice, I didn't play this out for a super long time. I noticed that within 30 seconds of the topic of money coming up, the topic of love, the topic of health, whatever it is, I noticed that this was the first thought that my mind went to, and then I followed my body to the feeling. And now I know when this topic comes up, that's the thought that I have, and this is the feeling. And we're going to get really deep into shifting the feelings tomorrow, but we're going to focus on the mind today. So if you're like, oh, I need help, just come back tomorrow. We'll be covering that. But so it's like you need to notice when the topic comes up in real world experience, or even if the topic comes up in your mind, like if you start thinking something about it, what are you thinking about in that topic? If it's not something that's a thought created from something that's happened, but it typically is, right? Then it's like, well, what was I thinking about? What was the thought that I was thinking about? Because the thoughts that you keep entertaining, whether you desire it or not, that's what you're going to keep manifesting, because that's what you're feeding. And it's either because you have a belief system that you're thinking that, or or you just keep thinking it more and more, so you're drilling it more in, right? So it's like, we've got to stop drilling in these beliefs. So what if in the moment that you notice that thought comes up and you're now aware that that thought comes up, what if you choose not to believe it? Even if you've experienced that thought 1,000,001 times, even if you've had a reality where that experience has been true for you for 30 years, what if once you notice that thought and you notice that feeling, instead of playing into it, what if you just said, you know what? I see you. Like I see you thought. I see how you're making me feel. That's not what I want to think about anymore. That's not how I want to feel with this. I desire this to change. So I'm actually just not going to believe you to be true anymore. I get that in order for my reality to change, my beliefs need to change. And the way I'm going to shift my beliefs is in the moment, because we're only manifesting from this moment right here. So the idea is to be conscious while you're going throughout your day, so you can notice the beliefs that are playing in your mind, that are coming up from things that you're experiencing, things that you're hearing, and no longer buying into them anymore. It's like you're going to shine a light on it and be like, no, dude, like you're annoying. Like, I don't want to think you anymore. I don't want to keep feeling this way. And I get that I have to stop believing you first. Like, in order for my reality to change, I have to stop believing in this belief. I need to stop entertaining it. I need to stop giving it the spotlight, because plants are just going to grow when I give them more energy, when I give them more light. So I'm not going to do that to you anymore. Like, I'm aware that this is a belief that I need to change because I just noticed it, and it's not a thought that I want to have. So it's like you challenge it, right? You notice it and you challenge it. Is this a belief that I want to have? Yes or no? Don't even look at the experience. Is this the belief that I want to have? Yes or no? No? Okay, then I'm not choosing to believe you anymore. So then it's like, if I'm not choosing to believe you, what do I want to believe instead? Like, this is how I know what I was feeling like. This is what I know my belief was. So what if I got to change that belief to any fucking belief in the world? Like, what if right now in this moment, I could just decide to believe something completely fucking different? Like, right now, I'm choosing to believe this instead. So what is a belief around money or love that or whatever it is, whatever topic that you've noticed has been coming up. Drop it below, because let's come up with a really fun, different belief instead. Because this is the thing, you guys, the way that beliefs still keep running through our mind is we keep entertaining them, we keep believing them to be real. But they were programmed into us, and the only way they're real for us is because they were programmed into us. So the way that we make them no longer real is we challenge them, and we say, wait a minute, I know I live in a quantum universe. I might not fully understand that yet, but I know that that's true. And so that means I know that my beliefs are creating my reality, and this is a belief that I obviously have because it's in my mind, and I'm giving it energy, and I'm giving it attention, and it's got some emotional charge over my body. So yeah, like you're it, my dude. Like you don't get to live here anymore. I'm not giving you attention. I'm not gonna go here. Like, I'm not gonna go here. I see how this is happening because I think a thought and then it makes me feel a certain way. And then I start telling these stories and I start assigning this meaning. And then I think that this is the way that it has to be. And then every day this cycle keeps happening. So the way to like get off the cycle, to stop wasting so much energy, to stop feeling so frustrated is to say, wait a minute, I'm going to stop you right at the beginning. Instead of me going to the root of all of the experiences, we know how to do that. We know how to shift it quickly, but this is in the moment. So instead of doing that, we're actually going to say, I see you. I see the belief. You're the root. Like, I don't care about all the experiences. I don't care about all of the webs. Like, we're cleaning up the cobwebs in the moment. So it's like, I see you. I see this belief. This is the belief that I keep seeing because this is what I keep thinking when this comes up. So it's like, what's the thing that you want to manifest? What's the area that you want to change the most in your life? What's the thing that you've been trying to manifest for a long time and it seems like it's not coming up? I want you to think about that topic and then drop, what is the first belief that comes up for you? What's the first thought that comes up? Is that a thought that you want to be thinking? No. And if you're not comfortable dropping the belief, you don't have to. But I just want you to be like doing this with me. And it's like, so that's the belief that just comes up without you even thinking about it. First thing that comes up. Is that a belief that you want to have? Is that a belief that's supporting the life that you want to be living? Yes or no? If it's no, okay, then we want to change that. So what's the belief that we want to believe instead? Because in order for us to shift our beliefs, we've got to shift them in the moment. So how do we shift our beliefs in the moment? We challenge it and then say, no, I'm actually going to decide to do this. I'm actually going to decide to do this. Love that line. You're it, my dude. That's awesome. I love that. So yes or no, challenge it. Yes or no. And then when you do that, it's like, okay, so if I don't want to believe this, and if I get to create my reality, then I get to create whatever fucking belief that I want here instead. So what belief do I want to have instead? So the idea is we're challenging it. We're not believing you anymore. No, like we're not going to believe you anymore. And then we're going to decide, what do I want to believe instead? And here's like the fun fucking part, you guys, like you get to believe anything that you want, you get to believe, like literally anything. If it was like a fucking movie of your life and you got to just believe anything, like your life is going to change, you could believe whatever the hell you wanted right now, what would you believe? What would you believe about that area? What would you believe about yourself? What would you believe about your life? Because when you change your fucking beliefs, your life is going to shift. And that's when it will shift quickly because you're not entertaining it anymore. You're not feeding the weeds. You're instead noticing the weed is there, pulling it right out and saying, hey, dude, no. And then throwing it in the compost bin, and then you're gonna plant something new there. What's it gonna be? When you're filling in that dirt, what are you planting in there? Even if it's an intention, right? Because most of the time when we pick up a weed, we're just packing it down. But what are you packing it down with? What's the new thought that we're putting in there? You get to decide, like literally anything in any area of your life. That's what's so fucking cool. This is where, because we've been so programmed to like think that we just have to accept how life is and think about life the way it's always been, that's when it's like, whoa, the Matrix is winning. I have no life force energy. Fuck that, dude. You get to change it. If you don't like it, you get to change it. So if the belief that you keep thinking all day long, if you notice it and you just keep calling them out, bro, I see you. No, we're not going there. We're not like, what? How did I even give you so much time and attention? You're obviously weed. You are obviously a weed. When you can just start like taking it a little less seriously almost, you know what I mean? Like be more silly about it. Be more silly about this mindset work. Like get into your kid energy. Like when you were a kid, you used to create these elaborate stories. You used to like probably play things out with your friends and it was all imaginary, but you had all these details, whether it was with you and your stuffed animal, whether it was with you and one of your siblings or your cousins or your friends or whatever it was. Like, I just got a live restriction probably because of my swearing, whatever. I swear, if you don't like it, go find somebody else, but stop taking life so seriously. So it's like when you can get more creative and be like, wait a minute. So if this is a belief that I obviously have and it's creating my reality, whether I'm still working on that or not, it is. I'm just accepting that as truth. What would I rather believe instead? Like, what would I rather experience instead? Fun fact, sky's not the limit. You can believe anything that you want, and these beliefs are going to be your new reality. So what would be the funnest fucking belief to have? What would be the dopest belief to have? What is the belief that would make you be like, bro, what? Like, if that was your belief and that was your reality, like, if you could just feel like you were on cloud fucking 9, what would you believe? If it's love and you've been struggling with love, what do you want? What do you want to believe to be true in love for you? Because your belief is going to create your reality. So if you don't know what you want to believe, think about what you want to experience in that area. Think of the best fucking case scenario, like turn it up, dial it up, dream a little fucking bigger, play a little harder, and ask yourself, like, well, what do I want to experience instead? Turn it the fuck up. And then what belief would I have to experience that reality? Do you see how in the other one that we take a little longer, we're doing it that other way to give you that perspective shift? But when we're doing it in the moment, it's like, no, let's switch this. Let's do this quickly. And this is what you get to do. And a lot of the times these beliefs, we take them so seriously because they've created all these life experiences that typically like suck. But it's like, what if I just stopped believing those fucking beliefs though? What if I just in the moment said, dude, I see you and I don't like you. Like, you're not cool. You're not fun to hang out with. So I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore, dude. I don't want to play with you anymore. And when you stop taking it so seriously, you can actually notice like that some of these beliefs that you're taking so goddamn seriously, you can look at and be like, well, of course my reality isn't changing in this area because I have been like so Susie serious over here that I'm not like raising my energy at all. I'm in this really contracted energy. I'm in this lack-based feeling because I'm taking this belief so seriously. But the reason this belief is creating my reality is because I keep taking it so seriously. I've got to decide that I don't want to believe this anymore. So I got to stop playing this game. If we're playing a game of chess and chess is life and we start playing chess and we're like so serious, got to get his queen, we're not having fun while playing chess anymore. And that kind of like, yeah, it's a beautiful mental game, but it kind of kills the experience of it all. Like, it gets to be really fun and creative, but like you get to have fun playing the damn thing too. You don't have to go so serious that you like got to win the chess championship. You just got to start having more fun, noticing these beliefs. And when you notice it, realize you get to just move in a different direction. So it's like, you've got to notice it, see it, yes or no? We gonna keep believing it? Yes, collect the $200. Pass, go, get fucking excited. No? Okay, then what do we want to believe instead? I'm not believing you anymore. I'm not believing you. And the more you say I don't believe you, then logically your mind goes, well, if I don't believe you, why am I giving this any attention? Like, this is annoying. I don't want to keep going here. She keeps telling me, he keeps telling me that they don't believe me. They don't believe me. So then it's like, okay. And every time that's you rewiring your mind. You challenge it, you move. Instead of it going down the old neural pathway that you were unconscious of because it's conserving energy, so it's not even letting you know, you're going to say, nope, pattern interrupt, nope, pattern interrupt, nope, pattern interrupt. Every time you shift and say, I'm actually deciding to believe this, that's when your reality gets to shift. So what are you deciding to believe? A bunch of you commented your comments about what you were believing. I want you to write down, what would you decide to believe? If you could believe any belief in that area, if you got to experience anything, turn it up. What would you experience? What would it be for you? I am often not present most of the day. That's when that one shift alone, sugar, when you start being present in more of the day instead of being unconscious and then just like allowing life to dictate how you feel, because you're just going, when we do unconscious thoughts, like, what are we doing? We're just going through the motions, right? Like, we're at work and 3 hours have passed by, but like, what did we really do? We sent an email, we did this, but it's like a question that I like to ask myself when I notice that I've drifted off. I say, where are you, Alexa? Where are you? Because when you ask yourself where you are, then you're going to be like, wait a minute. Because oftentimes we're like really like we've projected somewhere into another like situation, another place, another time. And it's like when you ask yourself where you are, your conscious mind goes, wait a minute, what? Like, what do you mean, where am I? And then it automatically drops you into your body. So that's something that if I do notice that I've like really gone out there, maybe not if I'm meditating because I might be like getting some answers, but you know, if I'm like living my life and I notice that I'm cooking, I notice that I'm cleaning, I notice that I'm in the shower, I notice that I'm doing my makeup, like in day to day, if I notice that there's certain places that I go really unconscious, and when we go unconscious, that's when those pattern loops are going to happen, where those thoughts and those beliefs that we really want to get rid of are going to be playing out. So once we become conscious, we're no longer playing those beliefs out anymore. We're now choosing to consciously listen to something different and to program our mind in something different. So it's like all got to start with presence. So I want you to start doing that too. Anytime you notice that you're not in the moment, ask yourself where you are in your head and watch how quickly you're going to come back into the present moment, because you're going to be like, oh shit, like I really wasn't here, like where my human body was. Okay, so when money comes up, my first thought is feeling powerless and fear. Then I get anxious and want to take a lot of action to get rid of the powerlessness. So I need to switch those thoughts. I think a lot about money throughout my day, so change those beliefs. I see those changes and I'm going to choose something else. Yeah, so here's the thing, and like, well, we're not going to go too deep on this because this isn't a money program, but one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize in money is that money is energy, right? So everything's energy, our relationship with anything. But what I need you to understand is a lot of people feel powerless with money, and it's like somebody has to be in charge. So if the person who's in power is the one in charge, right? The person who feels powerless is not in control. So if you feel powerless to money, you're not in control of money and you're not the leading energy with money. Money is controlling you. So it's like, we got to shift that. So what I want you to then look at is, what are the thoughts that come up when you feel powerless to money? What are those thoughts that you're thinking? What are the thoughts you think about money a lot, because it probably, you're stuck in this lack cycle where it just keeps going over and over again. But it's like, if powerless is typically the feeling, because then the powerless will create the fear, it's like the powerlessness, then where are you giving your attention throughout the day that's making you feel powerless? Because there's thoughts that you're thinking about money, whether it's, I never have enough money to get by, money's always running out, I just keep getting more bills and more bills, like I'm trying to manifest money, but it's not working. Oh, this bill is this much. Like, what are the thoughts that you're thinking about all day long? Because those thoughts are creating that powerlessness feeling. So what are the thoughts? Like, we'll talk about shifting the powerlessness feeling and like getting into the feelings and the emotional and energetics tomorrow. But I really want you to get clear on the thoughts today. What are the thoughts that you're thinking about with money? And you don't have to list them all out here, but this is what I want you to really focus on. If you notice that you're thinking about money all day long, what are the thoughts that you're thinking about? Like, get really fucking crystal clear. What is the thought? Because honestly, we don't have that many unique thoughts during the day. So we think that it's going to be a lot, but you're actually going to laugh at yourself when you realize that you've thought one thought like 76 times today. And that's like how unconscious you were. But when you become conscious of it, then it's like, oh, okay, now I see you. Like, now I'm not going to keep entertaining you because I see where you're at. I notice you and I get to decide whether I give you attention or not. And I understand that I need to shift this belief before the feeling shifts and before the reality shifts. So whether I see it shifting in my reality right now, I really need to ground into, what am I choosing to believe? Yes, of course, I can keep reacting and responding like I always have, but that's going to keep regurgitating those old thoughts, right? So it's like, what am I choosing to believe right now, even though it might be completely contradictory to what I'm currently experiencing? This is where a lot of people struggle, because their beliefs are still being dictated by their reality, but your reality is dictated by your beliefs. So even though you're experiencing something different in the moment, what are you going to think instead? What's the best fucking possible thought that you can think about? What's the complete opposite of the thought that you've been thinking? No, it isn't true for you yet because you have to program it in and make it true, but you're deciding. You get to decide what do you want to be true for you. So I want you to decide, notice the thoughts you're thinking, decide that you want to think something different, and then start thinking that other thought immediately. Like, start thinking the other thought immediately. No, I'm actually not going to believe you anymore. This is what I want to believe instead. Like, you see it pop up? Nope. And the thing is the faster you do this, it's just, you're going to be shifting so much faster. You're not even going to let it play out. But you're just going to start being consciously aware of when it starts playing out. No, I'm shifting you. No, I see you again. No, I'm thinking this instead. So it's like, it's just this constant game of you being present and you being conscious to notice your thoughts, because you can only consciously shift your thought in the moment. And your thoughts are going to dictate how you feel. So when you shift your thought in the moment, you shift how you feel in the moment. And you do this, you keep doing this. If you just ground into this and you keep doing this instead of giving any attention, that's when your reality changes quickly. When you're able to just notice the old thought, no, we're not going there, no. And then you shift into the new thought. And the more you just keep shifting in the moment, no, I'm not believing you anymore. I've always believed that money has been running out for me. I don't want to believe that anymore. I want to believe that literally I make thousands of dollars every single day. I want to believe that I've got 6 figures in my bank account. I want to believe that I'm financially free, that I live in a house that's fully paid for, that my car is fully paid for, that I've got money in the bank. Like, what do you want to believe instead? You get to believe anything, like any experience that you want to be true. What do you want it to be? And here's the thing is, the more fun you have with it, the more excited you get with, what am I creating my reality to be? Like, how do I want to experience this? That's when you're going to feel so fucking good thinking the new belief that you're going to go, wait a minute, I don't even want to think that old belief anymore, because 1, it sucked. 2, it made me feel terrible. And 3, this is so much more fun for me to just say, fuck you, I don't want to believe you anymore. I'm actually going to believe this instead. Okay, cool. And you just keep shifting your mind. Like, I actually want to believe this instead. That'd be fucking dope. That would be awesome. Like, if that was my reality 3 months from now, if that was my reality 4 years from now, if that was my reality 4 months from now, did I say that already? Whatever. Like, if that was my reality, wouldn't that be awesome? Like, that's how I want you to think about it. Like, what would I rather be experiencing instead? Okay. What thoughts would I have? What beliefs would I be believing to experience that? And every time, like, no matter which way, you now have multiple ways to move when that belief comes up, because you can now see it from different areas. You can now work through it differently. And I don't care which one you choose, but even if you come up with your own process, like while doing this, you're like, oh, I just had an aha moment, or while you do it, that's amazing. But like, what are you going to do? You now have different moves. You can choose to keep believing that old belief that makes you feel shitty and makes you feel trapped and makes all the fear come up. Or you could say, no, I'm done here. I'm actually going to, in the moment, notice you. Say, I see you and I don't want to think about you. So no, I'm going to choose to believe this instead. And then you have so much fun creating this new belief that it feels so awesome that now you anchor in this energetic expansion, and then you're raising your frequency, and now you're feeling better, you're thinking better, and you notice that when you think differently, you feel better. And so you're always just noticing what you're thinking, and if it's not making you feel good, that's a limiting belief, that's a disempowering thought. So what are we going to choose to believe instead? And yes, we're going to do like the nervous system regulation and stuff like that. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. But like, just really anchor in on your thoughts right now. Like, what would I believe instead? What would I believe instead? Notice it, challenge it. Do I want to believe this anymore? Yes or no? That is so beautifully simple. Exactly. I know that like we could have really deep conversations about mindset. And I do feel like for context, we do need to go through some of that. That's why we started there. But I want you to realize, like, we started there, we talked about it. I gave you a new perspective. I gave you a new way to see it, maybe, hopefully new. And then it was like, okay, so this is how we can work through it if it's a really deep-seated one. And then, like, if this is a belief that just keeps popping back up, if it's a plant that keeps, the weed that keeps weeding, then it's like, okay, we know how to work through that. We also know how to now see it in the moment, so we're not playing it. We're not taking it so seriously. So we're able to, like, have this distance and separation to actually notice the thought. And then it's like, I get to choose. I get to decide. In each moment, I get to decide. And the more moments I'm conscious in my life, the more moments that I'm consciously choosing how I want to think in my life, the more moments that I'm quickly changing my life, because I don't need my current reality to show me what I'm choosing to believe. I'm taking my fucking power back in all areas, and I'm choosing what I want to believe, knowing that, trusting that when I keep choosing this new belief, it's going to show up, and I'm not putting a time limit on it, so it gets to show up quickly for me. I've just got to keep choosing this belief, and I've just got to keep anchoring into this feeling, because this is what I desire, and I'm the leading energy. So I'm no longer going to go unconscious because I feel like I'm stuck in this life. I feel like I'm powerless. I feel like I'm trapped. I'm now going to become conscious throughout the day and start being the conscious gardener of my mind. Like, now that I'm conscious of all these weeds, I'm not going to get lazy on this, and I'm just going to clean it up. I don't need to do a lot of work, because if I'm always just tuning in, if I'm always just paying attention, if I'm always paying attention to the garden, then it's not going to take a lot of work. It's just being mindful of it. So now, instead of my mind just going where it wants to go, going where it's been programmed to go, I'm now leading it down the path that I'm now choosing for it to go. And that's how we form a new neural pathway, is by continuing to go down this road instead of that road. And that does take consciousness, but it doesn't have to take a lot of work. That's what I want you guys to understand. Mindset work doesn't have to be a lot of work. It just requires you to become conscious. Conscious, challenge, agree, disagree, choose instead. And right, like just with anything, when you learn to do anything new, it might take you a few minutes to do this in your mind. It might take you to like pause for a moment. But the more you do this, the faster it'll become. And then it's going to be like, in the moment, you can just be shifting. And then guess what? Because you're being so observant of your mind, because you're paying so much attention to how you feel, because you're paying so much attention, and you're on like a true mental diet, as Neville Goddard calls it, you're now so conscious of all of the thoughts you're choosing, just like you're consciously or unconsciously aware of the food that you're eating, that you're now not just going to be allowing your mind to chew on garbage. You're not going there, because you're actually paying attention. You're noticing what's in the fridge in your mind. And instead of just gnawing on it, you're actually going to say, wait a minute, should I be eating this? Let's not go too far into that metaphor, but just because let's stick with the minds. But it's like the thoughts that you're choosing to think are just like what you choose to eat. So you've got to pay attention. And if you would just become conscious of all the thoughts that you're thinking, especially when you notice that you keep thinking this same fucking thought that makes you feel like shit 1,000,000 times a day, you're going to be like, wait a minute. And your reality is going to shift so quickly when you just don't go there anymore. When you say, actually, I've thought you enough. Like, I'm bored of you. This is like I've watched the same DVD 270 times and I can recite all the lines. Like, give me the costumes, I can play all the characters. And it's just like, no, you got to just get bored of it. Like, it's like, this reality isn't shifting. So I'm not going to keep going unconscious to escape it, because that's what's keeping me stuck here. I'm now just going to become conscious of all of my thoughts that I'm thinking throughout the day, and be that conscious gardener throughout the day. And then when I see the weed, I pull it up. Sometimes I might know that there's a little extra work on there. I might have to get in there. But if that same one keeps popping up, you know what I mean? So it's like, or if it's in that same patch, we know we got to do more work. But if we just keep plucking those thoughts, if we keep plucking the weeds in the moment by moment, that's when we're shifting our lives quickly. That's when we're shifting our thoughts quickly. And that's when our reality changes quickly, because you're now, like I say, put your blinders on. You got your blinders on, you're focusing on what you're thinking about all day long. And you know now that you have the power to choose what you want to think. And you know now how to do it. Challenge it, decide differently. Challenge it, decide differently. No, we're not going there. No, I don't want to think you. Like, whatever you have to say, it's like yourself in your head or out loud or whatever works best for you. But like, it's just, we're not going there. We're not going there. This is resonating with you guys. I see all the hearts and the fires. I appreciate you. So I need to challenge it. Yes. Money is easy and fun for me. I am fully supported and people love to pay me. My business is growing because I am great with money and great at sales. Fuck yes, Haley. And doesn't that belief feel so much better than feeling disempowered with money, than feeling constant fear with money? Because your thoughts are probably the opposite of that, right? And so we can't be surprised when we have the thoughts and then those experiences are being created. So now it's like, okay, I know the thoughts are creating the experiences, so these are the thoughts that I want to think instead. If I say money is easy, how good does that feel in your body? I don't care who you are. Money is easy. Oh, like that feels like a fuck yes, money is easy. Yes, it is. Like what a weight off your shoulders. Like how good energetically does that feel? Money is fun for me. How dope would it be if you had a fun relationship with money? That would be amazing, right? Like you loved spending, you loved investing, you loved making money, you loved receiving money, you loved flowing money. Like you just love the whole experience with money because you're having fucking fun with it. You're dancing with money. That's exactly where it's at. That is exactly where it's at. Career, just so unsure about where I'm going with my future work. So, exactly. And then she said, love that. Don't take it so seriously. Get into the mindset of a kid. Love, love, love. Okay, amazing. So now what I want you to do, now that we've had this little bit of like an energetic shift and a perspective shift on the career thing, if you were sure on where you were going, where would you be going? Fun fact, remember, you get to pick the best fucking possible situation. So where would you be going? If you were fucking sure on where you were going, where would you be going? Because how fun is that when you're not playing the I don't know game anymore? I don't let my clients and my students go there. You do know. You're the only one that knows. So instead of playing the I don't know card anymore, play the I know card. And if you knew where your career was going, where would you be going? And don't take it so seriously. What's the first thing that comes up? You might be overthinking it and thinking that it needs to be harder, but it doesn't have to be harder. It actually is going to feel so much better when you have fun with it, when you follow what your heart and your soul are calling you to do. Don't listen to your mind because the logic's going to cap the magic. Like, if you knew what you wanted to do, if you got to do anything that you got to do ever, like you got to dedicate your life to doing this, working for this person, or starting this business, what would you be doing? What would feel the best? Like, you get to decide anything. And don't, if you're struggling, like it feels like there's too many choices out there, what's the first thing? Like, don't overthink it. What's the first thing that comes up for you? When you're like, I could do anything I want. Like literally any careers out there, I could make up a career if I haven't seen it. What would I do? Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Don't try and think about it logically. What does your heart tell you you'd be doing? Because I know that you know, but it might not be societally acceptable. It might not make that much money. Like, don't go there. Don't let your mind and the limiting beliefs and all of the noise go there. Where is your heart telling you want to go? And like, follow it. Follow it. So you can do anything, literally. Career, you can start over. 76, I don't care. Start your business, write the book, launch the podcast, go work for somebody else. But like, where are you feeling called? In your heart. Fuck the mind. Like we're now learning how to combat the mind. So in the moment, we're shifting back into the body. If you haven't noticed, we're not getting lost in our mind because we're always saying, where are we? We're coming back into our body because the present moment is where our body is, where we're breathing into. And this is the moment we have control over. This is the moment we're manifesting from. So it doesn't do us any good to escape this moment because we don't want to feel what we're feeling. We don't want to experience what we're experiencing. The way we're going to change the experience and the feelings and the thoughts is by being here in this body in this moment, realizing that it gets to change really fucking quickly. But I've just got to shift some things. Shift the thoughts, shift the feelings, like all the things, but we'll get into the other things. But yeah, don't take it so seriously because then it's like you get to be more in a playful energy, and playful is a lighter, more expansive energy. So if you're in this more playful energy and you're just like, but what do I want to experience? Like what would be the best possible situation? Like what, if I could just design the movie of my life right now, how would I write it out? Like it gets to be anything. It gets to be fucking anything. But if I'm writing it, it's awesome. It's obviously going to be like the most epic story. So what story is it? What story am I telling? I don't care how old I am right now. I get to change it. I don't care what's been happening for me. I don't care how long it's been happening. I get to change it. And I change it by changing my beliefs. And fun fact is that when you change your beliefs, You got to do that in the moment. So I'm now teaching you to be present, even though we're really focusing on the mind. But ultimately, you are now becoming more present. So that way, you're actually consciously aware of the feelings that you're feeling, the thoughts that you're thinking, the identity that you're playing out, the stories that you have, all of the things. And this is really when you become a master at manifestation, when you start mastering the present moment and learning how to really show up as the version of you that you want to be. And that starts by changing your beliefs. Can you talk super briefly about inner child healing at the end? I'm curious about what you have to say about that today. So I've said this before, and I'll say it quickly. But so it goes along with what I was saying before, is that a lot of mindset work and inner child healing, especially, like the whole premise of inner child healing is you healing your inner child. So when did your inner child live in the past, quote unquote past? So it's like you're always taking yourself out of the present moment to talk to or to soothe or to look at your inner child. And it's like, while yes, I do feel like that is valuable, it's something that you really don't have to do more than a few times, honestly. Because then it's just like an excuse for you to keep like looking back. But it's like, you can honestly just ask yourself, as the adult you that's already met with and like helped and supported the child like you can give yourself what you need in the moment right now. And that's where like real world, real life shadow work comes in, is we're not needing to do inner child healing because that takes us out of the present moment, takes us out of our power, takes us out of where we're manifesting from, where we're healing from. And if we don't know, if we're not like, if we've been through trauma, we don't know how to heal it, if we're not working with somebody, or if we're working with somebody who's never gone through like trauma certifications like I have, like it's like a lot of people don't understand how reliving the trauma makes you just re-experience it. So it's like, while inner child healing is helpful, it's only going to get you to a certain level where it's actually then going to not be harmful, but it's just going to not be as effective, and it's actually going to hold you back in your spiritual growth journey, in your personal growth journey, because you're not just looking at yourself now and looking at what you're thinking about now and looking at what you're feeling like now and looking at what your body is calling you to like give it right now, or what your mind needs right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, it's effective, but like if you've done it more than 3 times, like I'd argue like instead of maybe because you feel more comfortable than just like going back and doing that, but it's like you've got to get comfortable with healing yourself and meeting yourself in the present moment, because that's how you're going to shift, and that's how the healing work is going to be done truly, because you're going to be releasing the trauma, you're going to be releasing the feelings, you're going to be learning to live in your body so that you're not going to have to disassociate and live in another moment, even if it is going back to do some healing work. It's like, let's actually like just cut the bullshit. Let's make it more effective. And let's come into this present moment and look at, what do I need? What is adult me right here? Like, me in the moment, like, who do I need? So I would, you know what I mean? So Natalie, I would, instead of like doing the inner child work, because I'm sure you've done it if you've asked about it, I would start asking myself, what does Natalie need? Like the Natalie that I can touch, like the Natalie whose heart's beating right now, like what does she need? Because when you just look at that, that's going to open up a whole new can of worms. And of course that gets more into like the feeling state and emotional energetic, what we'll be talking about tomorrow. But do you see how interrelated they all are? It's like when we zoom out, they're one big piece of the same puzzle. But in order to like really do effective work and to learn the tangible tools to shift like in the moment, we've got to zoom in on one area. So that's what today was. But like when we zoom out, you can see how it is all affecting one another, and it's a symbiotic relationship. So true about thinking the same thought. Exactly. It's like, I want to say we only think 15 thoughts a day. It's something like extremely, extremely low, because I'm not like, because I'm manifesting health right now, but I'm not fully there. I want to say it's 15 though, but yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? Like I'm thinking 15 thoughts a day. These better be good damn thoughts then. Like if I'm only actually thinking like 15 thoughts a day, I better be on point with those 15 fucking thoughts. And when you think about it like that, then you're like, that's it. Like I'm only thinking 15 thoughts a day. Like I can't be conscious of the fucking 15 thoughts I'm thinking throughout the day. And then it gives you this whole new perspective where you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I actually can become conscious of that. Like that's not that hard. We have to let our new programs install. Exactly. You have to think about it. If we're still going with the gardener metaphor, then it's like when you plant a seed, like that's how it starts. You plant the seed, the thought, you plant it. And then it's like you pat it down, you water it, you give it love, you let the sun shine on it, whatever you do, and then it grows. But you're not expecting that like day one, something's about to pop up. You're not expecting that 1 week in even that you're going to see it. But it's like, if you keep giving that thought attention, if you put it in there and that's where you keep going to, you keep giving that loving attention, then it's like that plant's going to grow. But you have to, let it install, let it grow. Of course, our external reality will not reflect our immediate program updates. Have fun with it. This is so good. Exactly. And that's it. It's like, just like with a computer, you've got to uninstall something and then you've got to reinstall it, like even if it's an upgrade or whatever. So it's like, you've got to give this a little time. You can feel better in the moment by choosing to think the thought and then get really excited and celebrate that it gets to be your reality. And the more you keep going there, which is again more tomorrow, but it's like, but the more you keep going there with the thought and the feeling, then it's like you're shifting your dominant vibrational frequency. Then your reality changes quickly. But can you just do this work knowing that your reality might change? Not that second, but it will if you keep doing it. And then like the fun paradox there is the more you keep doing it, the faster and almost immediate your life can like start changing and things can manifest. And then you're like, fuck, I'm a magician. And it gets really fucking good. But it's like, yeah, exactly. You're going to need to just allow it to take some time. And if you can just do it like this, where you're having more fun with it and not taking it so seriously, then it's like, I actually am enjoying this process of creating my life. So I don't want to go unconscious, because even if shit hasn't changed, I'm having a lot of fun now being in my power, deciding how I want reality to go for me. And isn't that amazing? Like, this feels really cool. And I'm actually now excited to live my life, because I'm going to start celebrating the fact that I know that these thoughts are going to become a reality, and I'm creating really dope thoughts for myself. So I'm creating a really amazing reality, and it's going to be epic when I experience it. And that's when like this whole manifestation, this whole mindset, this whole personal growth journey gets to actually be a lot of fun, because you're enjoying the process, because you're in control of most of it and you surrender to the rest of it. But it's like, I'm going to feel good when I'm in control, and I'm going to choose how I show up when things are happening to like teach me lessons. You know what I mean? But it's like, you get to have a lot more fun. Be the conscious gardener of your mind. I love that. Oh, I love that one stuck with you. What do I do if I have an anxious feeling even when I'm changing the belief? So we're going to go really deep into that tomorrow. But when you have an anxious feeling that comes up with the belief, that means that your nervous system is dysregulated in that area. So when that happens, that's when you need to notice the anxiety as fast as you can. Again, so becoming conscious. And as soon as you notice that you're feeling the feeling, as soon as you notice that you're thinking the thought that's going to cause that feeling, that's when we start regulating our nervous system. So that way we're now choosing another thought, a thought that feels better. And in the moment, we are doing a nervous system regulation technique in the moment to clear that dysregulation, to get us back in a regulated state. And because our thoughts plus our feelings are creating our reality, when we change the thought, notice that there's anxiety in the way, we do the nervous system technique in the moment, nervous system regulation technique in the moment, then we're now shifting the thought and the feeling, which is our dominant vibrational frequency, to what we now desire to be feeling. And we're clearing out this old energy, these old emotions that are causing this anxiety, causing whatever the fear is or the lack or, whatever. But it's like, we can't bypass how we're feeling. So that's why we've got to do the mental work, and then we also have to add the energetic work. And that's why I said at the beginning, like, this is us, we're going to be building momentum, because day one is going to lay the foundation, day two is going to go on top, and it's like, we're building. And by the end of this, you're going to realize that we're fully zoomed out, but we started zoomed in, and now we're, going a little bigger and a little bigger. And as we add on to it, because you're going to know how to break down each step, then it's like, now you know the steps. You know that with practice, you're going to bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. You're going to move through it quickly. But it's like, now I know how to work through this piece. Then I know how to work through this piece. So then if I notice, when I notice that one of these pieces is out of alignment, I know what to do. I can zoom in on that area and I know how to fix it. I know how to shift it, and I know how to shift it quickly. So that way I'm not allowing myself to be anxious or depressed or frustrated or disappointed or whatever about something for like an entire day, 2 weeks. Like, we're not going there, because we know that the only way we're going to feel differently and feel better in the moment is if we start doing this work, and that's in the moment. And so that is going to require us to be a little uncomfortable if we've gotten attached with being disassociated. But it's like, the only way we're going to start being embodied and loving our life is to just do this work and to just realize it might not be the most comfortable at first, but if we're having fun with it, if we're not taking it so seriously, and if we're learning how to effectively shift our mind and regulate our nervous system, that's when we actually have the energy to energetically expand and to align with the reality we desire. And that's what the principles of my Psyche manifestation method are: mind, body, soul. Like, it's mind, body, and soul manifesting. And that's what I teach you guys inside of AOMU, which is my membership. So we'll go deeper on that tomorrow, Ish, but I just wanted to let you know, like, that's where you're going to be going with it. So work on what I would just focus on today is getting really good at just like the thought work and noticing the beliefs that are coming up, challenging them, shifting them, and just like take a deep breath and just take a few deep breaths if you notice the anxiety comes up, and then just, keep having fun with it. And then tomorrow we'll talk about like how to really like move through that energy, so that way the feelings and the anxiety, so we'll get there, because choose the belief. And then if you're really getting stuck on the feeling, then it's like, then choose the feeling as well. But we'll go deeper on feelings tomorrow. But today's all about the thoughts, like primarily. Zoom in on the thought work. Zoom in today for the thoughts. And then when we meet tomorrow, we'll go deep into the feeling state and the energetics and the emotions and all of that. 111, follow your heart and soul. Oh my God, love that. The logic will cap the magic. Yes, straight up, Natalie, yes. I had that very question that you are answering right now. See, I told you guys, if you have any question at all, like, always ask it, because one, you'll regret it if you don't, because you're like, well, I don't want it, but then afterwards you'll regret it. And two, somebody else had that question anyway. They might not have even known they had that question, because they might have not had like the language to formulate the question, but a lot of times you're like, I'm so glad she asked that, because you know what? I had that question too. Change the story. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. Change the story. Change the story. You get to change the story. And here's the thing is, like, it's not like you have to get 16 pages into the chapter to change the story. You can change the story in the moment, because the story's already played out. That's what you're experiencing. The story's already played out. So it's like, I got to choose a new story for me to experience a new story. So what story are you choosing? You get to choose any story you want. So what's the story you're choosing? And in any area, in all the areas, like, sometimes we're going to zoom in on a certain area, sometimes we'll zoom out, but it's like, what do you want to change? Like, what do you want to be different? And if you don't know, look at what's happening in the moment. Look at what's coming up daily. Look at the thoughts. Get very clear on what you're thinking. Is this a thought? If I know this thought's going to create my reality, is this a thought that I want to experience? Yes or no? Okay, no, then what do I want to experience instead? When you do that, you shift your mind mentally to a new image, and you're also shifting your body and how you're feeling, because you're choosing to shift. The thoughts have this synchronistic effect where it's like, when your feelings shift, your thoughts shift. And when you learn to master shifting your feelings and your thoughts, that's when you really learn to master manifestation, because you're now in control, you're now in power. So it doesn't matter what circumstances you're in, because you're in power, you're in control, you know how to handle it, you know how to navigate it, you know how to extract the wisdom, you know how to get back into alignment, and you're doing it in the moment. And you're having fun with it. So it doesn't now feel like this big task or chore that you have to do or feel super draining. It actually gets to feel really fun and exciting, and we get shift in the moment by telling a new story. I'm so excited for tomorrow, because I totally welcome a regulated nervous system. Yes. I hope for everybody in here that we all get regulated nervous systems, because It is just the best thing, the best thing, the best thing. What about the feelings? We'll be talking about the feelings tomorrow in deeper in context. You're amazing. Thank you so much for this. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for participating. Thank you for asking questions. A lot of times when I do feel anxious, I usually tell myself, take this as a sign to change my beliefs and shift them. I am not sure if this is a good way, but I have been doing this lately. Yeah, so that's the thing is like, because your thoughts and your feelings are so intermingled, it's like, start focusing on shifting the thought. Because you can either shift the thought or you can shift the feeling. But whatever one you shift, you're going to shift the other one. It's just sometimes we might have some energy we need to clear out from old feelings. Sometimes we might have some old stories that we need to tell out from like old beliefs. But when we keep shifting, that's when our reality shifts. So that's a great way just for you to like notice, one, take accountability of that relationship, and then choose to change one of them, because that's how you're going to change the other one. And sometimes that's going to be a way more effective way for you. But we'll also teach you, or I'll teach you, tomorrow we'll talk about clearing it out, so that way you can just start replacing the energy that you've had in that place with a desired feeling as well. So desired thought, desired feeling creates desired reality, right? And that's when life gets good. So I'm going to drop the homework in the section. I'll drop a day one section. I'll send you guys an email once it's uploaded. So if you haven't been able to catch the whole thing, if you want to go back to this, if any of the things, and I'll drop the 2 questions that I want you to really work through, so that way you can really get good at this mindset work. It's a really great way to give you perspective. And again, once we have awareness of the thoughts, then it's like, that's how we start noticing them, right? Because it's like, wait a minute, no, I know that you're there. So I'm not going to just play you out. I'm not going to play this story out. I'm going to look at you. I'm actually going to like consciously look at you and say, is this a story I want to be in anymore? Yes or no? I get to choose. I get to change at any moment. And the only moment I change in is this moment right now. So what am I choosing? What am I choosing to believe? So that's where we're going to leave it. I'm not going to read out the 2 questions again. I'll just put them in there. The one thing that I do want to just let you guys know, because we're at an hour and a half right now, so I'll respect your time, is that if you're feeling really, really activated by this and you really want to like stay plugged into this energy and this momentum for all of 2024, if you want to join, I invite you into my membership where all of my teachings, this will go. You'll have access to this, and you will get access to any other programs I release throughout the year. If you want to join AOMU, which is my manifestation membership, where we do the mindset, we do the personal development, we do the shadow work, we do all the things in there, and you get a monthly group coaching call with me, and you also get a community to connect with others. If you want to join the membership, I'm giving you guys a discount for being in the program. The discount is available. It's a promo code. It's available until Saturday the 23rd, so we end on the 22nd on Friday, and then I'll give you guys a day to catch up if you needed to take a day off or whatever it is, and then you will have access the next day, and then you'll have access to the course materials until 1/1. But if you do want to take advantage, I will put the promo codes in the email and in the program. But if you want to join, the code will be GTFU. So glow the fuck up is the code if you want to get the monthly. So it would only be, it's $10 off for your first month. So it would only be $33 your first month. And you'd be able to get access to all of the programs, and you'll have lifetime access to this teaching. So I invite any of you in. We have the best time. You'll get access to our last group coaching call, and then you'll be on for our next group coaching call. So you can ask me any questions in any area. We go deep and we work through them. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited for tomorrow, for these next few days. Like, I really want you to anchor in, do the work today, get clear on your thoughts, like focus on thoughts for a day, and then we'll add emotions tomorrow. If you want the homework and everything, just don't worry. It'll be available within like 2 to 3 hours. Once the replay is up, I'll send you guys an email. So make sure you are signed up for the program on my website, in the program, in case you just bought your ticket, or in case you're catching me on TikTok or on YouTube. Make sure you do join the program. The link's in my bio. That way you'll have access to the promo codes. You will have access to the homework. You'll have access to the replay. And tomorrow we'll dive deep into emotions. So we touched on it a little bit today, but thank you guys guys so much. I'm so, so grateful that you are here. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Invite any of your friends if you feel like they need help with this manifestation work or this glow up work or doing it quickly. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye.